So we're going to be looking today at nutrition and an 80-20 rule, the 80%, 20% rule. And it's a really good kind of balanced approach to healthy eating and building someone's relationship or improving someone's relationship with eating. So over this training today, we're just going to look at how we can implement 80-20 as much as possible to help you enjoy food and get sustainable results in the meantime. So first up, we're trying to understand 80-20 principle. So it's about nutritional balance, just as much for mental and physical health harmony, okay? It's an evidence-based approach, so it's supported by nutritional research that this actually works, really works well. And it's just a basic formula of something along the lines of 80% nutrient-dense foods, 20% flexible eating. And we can use this daily, weekly, monthly, even yearly. If you really want to, you can break it down however you kind of see fit that's going to work for you, and you can keep it going sustainably for the future. But the idea behind it is that if the vast majority of your food is good, healthy, wholesome choices, 20% or 1/5 of it in this situation, 20% there, that can be more relaxed. That can be a lot more kind of the food you wouldn't necessarily consider you would have on a diet per se. It could be crisps, chocolate, cakes, sweets, that kind of thing. So if the vast majority of your food is really, really healthy, wholesome choices, 20% can be a bit more relaxed. And that's the kind of general concept of the 80-20 rule, okay? It doesn't just mean we can use this with nutrition. You can use it with exercise, with all sorts of different things in life as well, okay? So the daily nutrition strategy, we're going to look at it from a daily perspective, then we'll go into weekly, and we'll also go into monthly as well. So the daily strategy is going to be 80% lean proteins, colorful vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats, these types of foods. You know the things we should be eating for a healthy diet. Yeah, we know that kind of stuff. So that's the 80%. We want to make sure the majority of your daily food is that, okay? Then we can include the 20% on a daily basis. And this is actually encouraged in some diets where I've done this in the past, where I've encouraged someone, especially someone who's been a bit of a binge eater in the past and have basically gone 100% all in, really clean diet for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden they cave in and they eat all the chocolate, for an example, under the sun over the course of a weekend. They'll have pizzas, they'll have cake, they'll have sweets, they'll completely blow their diet in one big sitting. Whereas we can avoid that if we can implement a little bit of the 20% every single day. It's a really useful strategy that could work for you if you've got the control to just have the 20%, okay? This can be favorite treats. It could be a restaurant meal if you go out. It could be processed foods, you know, the ultra processed foods that we eat, fish fingers or something like that, for example, or it could be a dessert, okay? And by allowing yourself that every single day, it's going to satiate you mentally, okay? So you're going to get that kind of mental satisfaction that you've had something sweet or something savory or something that you wouldn't normally associate with having to be strict with a diet. And that's going to really, really work for you long term, because again, you're not going to have a weekend where you're binging or craving too much of that stuff, because you're allowing yourself something every single day. And it almost gives you more of an incentive to eat really well the rest of the day. This is how it can work on a daily basis. All right. It's a really useful way of doing it. There's certain diets where trainers will say to clients, I want you to have a chocolate bar a day. Like, that's literally within your plan. Have a chocolate bar every single day. And it helps people adhere to a diet long term way better. All right. Then we can look at it weekly. So this is if you've got like weekend events, if you've got going out of the weekend, or you've got something like that coming up, then we can look at 80-20 on a weekly basis. So Monday to Friday, good food. Okay. You're not having that 20% daily that we just spoke about. We're looking at really good food 100% of the time, Monday to Friday. All right. And then 20% can kick in over the course of the weekend. Then it's going to be Saturday, social dining or a restaurant meal. You can enjoy this without guilt, as it's part of your 20%, and you've had a really solid, structured week with nutrition, all right? And then Sunday as well can just be a bit of a reset with meal planning, and then prepare for the week ahead. So this is how you can fit it into a week if you know something's coming up at the weekend and it's going to be very difficult to stay on track with your nutrition. Then as long as you are really, really focused throughout the working week, the Monday to Friday, the weekend, you can have that 20% relaxation. So that's how you can fit it into a week if that's the situation for yourself, okay? And then we can look at it on a monthly basis. Now, this would be optional for if you've got a holiday coming up, or you're going away for like a hen do or a stag do or something like that, and you know it's going to be a bit of time where it's going to be next to impossible to control your food. It's not a problem. It doesn't mean you're going to lose all your progress, but we have to implement 80-20 again, okay? So this will be something along the lines of 24 days really focused with that 80% guideline. So it's 80% in a month, 24 days, where you're focusing on your nutrition, having good quality food, not really having too many snacks or too many beers or wines or things that you wouldn't normally associate with being on a diet. It's got to be 24 days focused of that month, okay? Then you've got the 20% is going to be 6 days flexible. So special occasions, holiday celebrations, you can have beers, you can have pizza, you can do that. You can relax a bit more in those 6 days. What this will do is it will give you a bit more balance in the month, so you can still live your life, you can still enjoy social events, you can still go on holiday and party with your friends and whatever you need to do, and you can still stay focused the majority of the time, the 24 days, that 80% of the month. So it's a really good way to kind of have that social life and still make progress moving forward. So that's how we can fit that into a monthly basis as well. Now, one of the biggest impacts of this is going to be sustainability with mental wellness, not just with your physical health, okay? Reduced food anxiety is a big one. It gives you permission to enjoy foods and reduce stress around food. One of the biggest problems I see with people is that they stress around food. Food's one of the greatest things we can do. Eating food is one of the greatest things we can do. And having stress around that is really, really hard to comprehend because we should enjoy it. Now, this method can give you permission to enjoy all those foods and reduce stress around your meal times. It can improve your relationship with food because it doesn't really categorize foods as good or bad. You're just incorporating foods you wouldn't normally associate with a diet into your regular diet. So it's not a good or bad food. There's no good or bad options here. It's just incorporating that type of food into your diet. It gives you more chance of long-term adherence rather than going 100% all in and crashing and burning 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line. This flexible approach will have a much higher success rate long-term. And it gives you the chance to have social connection as well. So it gives you the freedom to participate in social events and eat out, basically, and have a good time with your friends and family and loved ones. Practical implementation strategies for this. So how we can look at this, guys, is start with your plate. All right. So if we want to break it down again even further and refine it down even further, fill 80% of your plate with vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, all that good stuff, all the good nutritious stuff, and then reserve 20% for less nutritious options. So that could be a little bit of chips on the side, a handful of crisps, or whatever it is you're eating. Okay, 80% of the plate full with good quality foods. 20% can be reserved for the less good quality, nutritious, valuable foods. Practice mindful eating, so eat slower. Okay, savor each bite. Listen to your hunger and fullness cues. Something most people don't do is actually be present when we eat food, actually pay attention to what we're eating. So practice mindful eating. It is going to go a long way to helping you feel fuller for longer, enjoying the food a bit more, and just listen to when you're actually full, okay? And then plan for flexible moments. So schedule your 20% food. So anticipate and enjoy them without the guilt. So have your snacks, your 20% snacks in one drawer, maybe, you've got a chocolate bar in there, a packet of crisps in there. You might have a few cakes in there, some sweets, whatever, some Haribo. Have that kind of 20% foods, the 20% foods ready to go. Okay. Rather than going to the shop and then getting a family sized bag of crisps and then you'll end up having 2 or 3, have them ready, prepare. Planning and prepare is a key thing throughout the whole kind of health and fitness journey. And then the key takeaway we have here, guys, is consistency, not perfection. Okay. What you do most of the time matters way more than occasional indulgences, okay? The vast majority of the time, if you are on it, 80%, 20% doesn't matter. And then you can keep moving forward. You can keep taking steps forward. If you do that for a year, you'll be in a much better place than you are today, all right? Nutritional freedom, no food is forbidden. You can have whatever you want as long as it fits within the realm of 80-20. It's a much more sustainable approach to healthy eating and improving your relationship with food. Personalized approach, you can adapt the 80-20 rule to your lifestyle. It could be daily, weekly, monthly. Any preferences and nutritional needs you have, you can adapt it to that. And then it's a more of a lifelong strategy. It's how I approach my nutrition. It's not rigid 80-20, but it's the vast majority of foods are good. A little bit of or some foods, absolutely fine. Beers, crisps, takeaways, absolutely fine, because I'm confident in myself that I can control the other 80%. So it's a much more realistic lifelong strategy for adhering to a diet rather than going whole hog in something and then crashing and burning later down the line. So hopefully that's just giving you a little bit more of an insight into 80-20 and how you can implement it from a nutrition standpoint into your life. If you have any questions about this, don't be afraid to message me. You can email me at mark@zenithfit.co.uk. Find me on social media, zenith_fit or just Zenith Fit on most things. and I'll be happy to help. Okay, so have a good one. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you all really soon.